Joining me now, senior fellow at Defense Priorities and host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis. Lieutenant Colonel, always great to see you. All right, so there's a lot to get to here. John Kirby just calling this a sign of weakness during today's White House press briefing. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has said if North Korean troops do join Russia in its war against Ukraine, it would be, quote, a very serious issue, saying it would also have an impact in Europe and in the Indo-Pacific region. We know Kirby also just mentioned that. Talk about what it could mean in that region and beyond.
Well, first of all, we just got to look. I mean, he's making some wildly inaccurate assertions there. And I know it's wishful thinking, and we'd love to say Russia's showing weakness. There is no evidence of military weakness on Russia's part at all. As a matter of fact, that there are somewhere between 600,000 and 700,000 Russian troops on Ukrainian soil, and they are making methodical progress. And in the last 24 hours, they've made about as big a progress as they've made this year. So there is no shortage of success on the tactical front. And on the operational axis, these troops are far in the eastern part of Russia, in the Far East. I actually had a meeting yesterday with a member of the South Korean diplomatic corps here in Washington, and they also suggested or confirmed that this was in the Far East. So it's not even related to the fighting at this point, and it's unclear what they're actually doing. So far, all they're doing is being trained. And what I think is a very realistic possibility is that they're trying to gain combat experience at the benefit of what the Russians have done so that they can take it back to their own force. And of course, they haven't had any combat experience in decades. So I think that's probably an escalation that North Korea wants, not that there's any evidence so far that they're going to be coming into the war on the Russian side.
You know, you bring up such a good point there, Lieutenant Colonel, but both Russia and North Korean officials are denying that this is happening, these troop movements are happening. Is that a surprise at all? Not that they're happening, but that the denials are happening.
Right. Yeah, no, of course they deny things all day long, just like our government does, even if it's self-evidently true. And it's not surprising in the least, because Russia has been increasing its cooperation with North Korea across the board. This same South Korean official told me that the estimated number from the South Korean government that that North Korea has given to Russia is not 4 or 5 million, but probably closer to 8 million shells, and those numbers keep on expanding. So there is tremendous benefit coming to the Russian side from the North Koreans, and it stands to reason that the North Koreans are going to want to benefit as well. And it makes sense on a military level to say, hey, why don't you train up some of the cadre, some of my senior leaders on the ground there, and the tactics and techniques and procedures you've learned, so that we can bring them back to improve our military force. That makes total sense. And what we don't know yet is if that's what it is, or if this is like an advanced party we call in the military, and that maybe thousands more could come later. That would definitely be bad for the Ukraine side, and both are possible at this point. We just don't know.
Yeah, there is so much we still don't know, Lieutenant Colonel. As we zoom out a little bit, South Korea is now saying it would consider supplying weapons to Ukraine in response to the North's reported troop dispatch. Talk about the possible implications of that added potential piece of information.
Yeah, well, this South Korean official also told me that based on their constitution, they are actually prohibited from directly giving weapons or ammunition into the hands of a belligerent. So it would have to kind of follow this circuitous route like they have done with some artillery shells in the past, where it would go to, like, they would give them to the U.S., a treaty ally, and then if the U.S. gave them on, that's one thing. But listen, there's not going to be a whole lot of change in what is going to be the dynamic for the Ukraine side. If South Korea does this, it's probably just kind of a reaction to what they said the North Koreans are doing, but it certainly isn't going to change any dynamics on the ground.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.